Innovation Unplugged from the Alabama Community College System's Innovation Center takes you inside Alabama's workforce development. Join us for enlightening conversations with community leaders and industry experts showcasing experiences, addressing key issues, and celebrating successes in the workforce initiatives across the state. Okay, welcome back. This is the Innovation Unplugged podcast, a production of the ACCS Innovation Center. I'm Houston Blackwood. I'm blessed to be the workforce director for the Innovation Center, and today I have a unique show and a unique session. We have three guests on this episode. We'll start with Mr. Carlis Acker. He's a construction engineering teacher at Hillcrest High School. Then we've got Jeff Hinton, who is the principal at Hillcrest High, and then we have Mr. Jeff Hyche, who is retired principal from Hartselle High School, and he was also at Hillcrest before that. So we'll have a diverse show today, but this may be one of my favorite going into this. Carlis, welcome to the show. I know this is a kind of a last-minute plan, but we are so excited to have you on, and I can't wait to hear the story of what you do and where you came from. So why don't you just give us a little bit about who you are and your journey to this moment right here.
Okay. My name's Carlis Acker, Hillcrest High School graduate. Went through high school, always liked working with my hands, doing stuff productive. Went into Nucor, one of the local companies here. I worked with them, worked with their students, started in maintenance.
Okay.
Stayed out there for right at 8 to 9 years. And during the time, we had a side business. Business started growing. It was kind of motivating me to go another way, to stay in business full time.
Yeah.
And the moment come where it felt like it was time to pull the plug and do it.
Okay. What was the side business?
We remodeled houses,
Okay.
landscaping, tile showers, floors, any custom work they wanted.
Flooring. Okay.
We would offer.
Good. And so you had the financial and just the volume.
That's right.
Incentive to make the switch and to get out of the steel industry. Okay. So you did that. How long did you do the private contracting?
For about 8 years, and still doing it now.
Okay.
We actually have some students that work with us and some employees too. So.
Okay. And so you did that, and obviously doing well, doing a good job of it. And so and Mr. Hyche was telling me that you remodeled his home.
Yes.
The one down here.
Top to bottom.
From top to bottom. And so, but that's not all you do. So you have another gig, which is really intriguing to me.
Yes. I was contacted. I was told Hillcrest was looking for a carpentry teacher.
Yeah.
At that point in time, I couldn't find employees. It was the common stuff was missing. Reading a tape measure, knowing angles, how to build stairs, how to drive an L.
Yeah.
Just the simple stuff that we always take for granted. It was missing. It wasn't out there.
Yeah.
So I had the job offer to go down, talk to Mr. Jeff, talk to Kevin, put in an application, went through the process, got the phone call that they was interested. Went to August 2023, started teaching at Hillcrest.
And that was your first teaching job?
First teaching job.
Now, I think I missed it, but did you go to teacher school? Like, did you go to be a teacher?
No.
So you
have not been there. No experience teaching besides raising my kids.
So you had you didn't get all that formal training that we all got.
That's right.
Which didn't really help, by the way.
I had the industry training from teaching and helping out at Nucor.
Yeah.
But nothing. High school was completely new to me from the time I left.
Man, that is golden. I bet you're probably a better teacher than most of the folks that go through a 4-year university.
Oh, well, we try. We try on our side of it.
Well, I remember my first teaching job. I went, 4.5 years, and then I got to that first classroom, and that door shut that first day. I was like, I'm not ready. I don't know what I've been doing, but I'm not ready. Somehow I survived. So what was it like, man, going from big industry, Nucor is massive, international company, to doing it yourself, and now you're into the classroom, which is a beautiful, special place.
Oh yes, definitely.
I miss my classroom, but what was that transition like for you?
To make it simple, it was scary, scarier, and the scariest. But it was great. It was a really smooth transition. Hillcrest was home.
Yeah.
So it was like coming back home.
Yeah.
The students, we started off just trying to learn the kids and learn what they could do, what their potential was, where they were directing their lives to go.
Yeah.
leaving UCOR, going into business for yourself was a big step,
Terrifying, I'm sure.
but it was. But once the business was established, leaving it was simple because I felt like it was something given back to our community that needed to take place.
I could see that. I know some contractors, and most of them are really good guys who just want to do a good job.
That's right.
You know, and get somebody's house right, you know, before they leave. So that classroom experience, man. So you went from like no training to, hey, did they make you drive a school bus too and coach 3 sports?
No, I was lucky on that.
Man, well, you did get lucky. I guess that's what happens when you spend all that money and time to get the degree. They also make you drive the bus, that's also fun.
Another learning process.
I love driving the bus with kids on it. All right, tell me about that classroom experience. Once you figured out, okay, this is what I'm doing, and I've got my lesson plan. I'm sure somebody coached you up on that, but once you started seeing those kids get their hands on that tape measure and hands on the speed square and saw that first piece of wood with a skill saw or miter saw, what was that like for you, just in terms of your vision for how this was going to go for you?
I knew from that point forward, when I seen them picking up on the industry, that it was going to go up.
Yeah.
Everything has been great since then.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we had kids that couldn't read a tape.
Yeah.
They couldn't cut angles. They couldn't build stairs. We've built 2 mock-up houses.
Like the whole thing?
The whole thing.
Holy cow.
We're building trusses, rafters,
Mm-hmm.
no supervision. They're able to do it. And
That's
to watch
incredible.
that take place in a 9-month period,
Yeah.
it gets you looking forward to next year. It's already starting to plan a lesson plan. Okay, where can we advance from here?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that second lesson plan. Yeah, the old saying is, if you teach the same thing for 30 years, you know, what are you doing? So, and I can imagine you're the kind of guy who's a different lesson plan,
Yes,
a better lesson plan every time.
Next year is going to be an advanced class. You know, it's
Yeah.
going to be tile, hardwood floors. We're going to start doing some showers, start seeing the inside components of a house come together.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you this question. So you're a pro, and you could teach one of these classes very easily. We are piloting right now, going on right now, as a carpentry lab. And so the students in all of our Skills for Success courses, they take an online piece that's it's very well designed, extremely interactive, designed by guys like you in a group of them, a task force.
Awesome.
And so they go through, and there are knowledge checks, and it might take them 10, 12 hours, you know, maybe 20 hours. But then they go through a 2-day lab, a 2-day hands-on lab. And in the carpentry lab, yesterday they had just a piece of paper with a copy of the tape measure on it, you know, with all the marks, and it was marked out. And then they spent about an hour working on that, and then they got into actually making marks on the wood.
Right.
So flash forward 2 days, they'll be able to build what really is just a shooting house. We call it something else because we can't really call it a shooting house.
Correct.
But they learn how to frame, how to put the corners in, how to frame on center, and even how to frame in for a breaker box.
Yes.
And then the electrical helper kids will come in behind and actually wire it. So I say all that to say, in your expertise, do you think that kind of online piece and then a 2-day lab is sufficient to get someone started?
Yes, to get a start, that's great because you're covering the basics, then you're getting it built, they're seeing it come together, and then you're involved in another step of the process, wiring it in, electrical.
Mm-hmm.
And so we did the mock house at Hillcrest,
Mm-hmm.
and we built the house. It's in the electrical room, and then they come through and wire the house. It gives you a chance to put in some tricks too. You know, what happens if somebody runs a screw through the wall?
Yeah.
It trips
hits
the
that
breaker.
wire.
It lets the kids learn from it.
That's exactly right. That happened. We had an addition at our house, and the air conditioner guy put a screw through a wire. And
You're taking real life experience,
Yeah.
bringing it to the classroom. You know,
Yeah.
it's when you get there, you clock in. It's just like a job.
Mm-hmm.
You got 5 minutes to get ready to be in the shop.
What's the thing that you take away just from all of your almost 20 years experience out in the world doing it yourself? What's the intangible thing that you bring to the kids? I know all the skill sets and specific tasks, but what's that it factor that you try to deliver to these students?
I want them to know that they can do anything they put their mind to. You can accomplish anything if you have the motivation and drive.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stop learning.
How do they receive that?
Very well.
Okay.
Very well. You'll have a couple that don't, but for the most part, what we're doing is changing these kids' lives.
Mm-hmm.
It's opening their eyes up to what they haven't seen before.
That's a good segue. And I bet you're probably emotionally connected to this.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, so we don't go too far. because I'm the same way. I'll cry in a minute but tell me, without giving a name, tell me a story of a kid, and not too many details, but tell me about that life-changing moment that you have seen in a student.
It's about the fourth or fifth day on the job.
Really?
It was a student of mine. He's come a long way. He was he's text and tells me thank you every day
Oh
for
man.
what I do. He has come to me and wanted resume advice,
Mm-hmm.
interview advice. He trusts in what I do. A
Yeah.
lot of students do.
Mm-hmm.
They know that I'm going to guide them right. But he's really touched me in ways of knowing he trusts me enough to guide him in the right direction
Mm-hmm.
for a career.
Mm-hmm.
And with that being said, he has 3 interviews coming up in the next 3 weeks, thanks to programs like ours.
He's a senior.
Yes.
Okay. So he's got job offers.
Yes.
And so maybe he doesn't have a college plan, but he's got job offers.
He has job offers straight out of high school.
That's amazing.
With 3 very, very well-known companies here in town.
Maybe I'm asking Mr. Hinton this question later. Is there going to be a signing day for this young man?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
But it was actually introduced to him through some local contractors that we know that reached out to us.
Yeah.
We try to promote the best we can because that's how our program grows. But I know it's just Hillcrest being my hometown and Hillcrest being my school, but I mean, I feel like we got the best program and the best opportunity that we can offer. Skid steers last week.
Yeah. Tell me about
this
that.
week. I'm sorry.
Yeah, just the last couple of days. Tell me how that was for you, because I'm sure you could jump on any machine probably and run it just fine, but these students have never been in one.
Correct.
What was that like for them when you saw them, saw their eyes and saw their faces when they actually got the machine? Tell me all about that.
All right. So the online portion was first.
Yeah.
And it was, hey, sit in the classroom. Let's get our online done. You finish the online, we proceed to the next step, which is hands-on. All of them was like, having a good time with the online portion.
Sure.
When they got out there in the field and they seen the equipment for the first time, it was, what is this? Oh, well, here we go.
Yeah.
It's real. It's hands-on.
Yeah.
They've never done it before. They never run it. And it's first off is teaching the safety. The 2 instructors that were with us, they just bragged on the kids.
Yeah.
The kids bragged on them. It was a great mix. First day, everybody's kind of knocking dust off of them and looking like this is fun.
Yeah.
The second day,
Yeah.
to watch them kids drop a blade and be able to finish and turn around and come back and scoop.
Yep.
To build a ramp, to actually perform every function you would
Mm-hmm.
in 2 days,
Mm-hmm.
it lets you know it's a good program because they're learning.
Do you think from a construction contractor standpoint that and I know my answer that I've heard from other people, but I really get this opportunity. Do you think from that standpoint that that's valuable to a contractor for someone who can come in and they know the safety, they know the basic parts and the basic maneuvers?
100%. Because if you come in and from a contractor standpoint, if somebody came in and said, hey, I need a job,
Mm-hmm.
okay, I'd look at their credentials.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of handing them a shovel right away, I might say, hey, let's get on the skid steer and see what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get on this bulldozer, see what you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can prove that you can perform right out of high school,
That's what we think too.
that's the benefit.
And that's why we create these things. And so we've got a handful of things. So we have all these heavy equipment courses and then construction courses. How do those courses mesh in with what you're teaching on a long range, year-long schedule at Hillcrest?
Great. Because when I've seen the flyers that y'all are putting out, it was electrical helper, flooring.
Mm-hmm.
It was several different steps. And that goes into our advanced program.
Mm-hmm.
So what we did was we took a mock-up house with no walls.
Mm-hmm.
We put 2x4s in different angles all through it, like where a wall would be standing.
Yeah.
And then, hey, you have a basic, you have an advanced, and you have an end. So you cut to match these angles.
Okay.
But you're having to lock your hardwood flooring. You're having to lay your tile. It's so meshed in that
Okay.
it's taken our program, your program, and combining a team program.
Okay.
That's why I want to participate in every one of them that we can.
Well, you're going to get your opportunity, that's for sure. Mr. Hyche has been singing your praises.
Awesome.
So I look forward to having a sit-down conversation where we actually plan how to mesh all that together.
That would be awesome.
With your expertise, I think that would be a good model for moving forward. So Carlis, we're out of time because we're running a speed show in this episode. But thank you so much for giving us your insight, and I look forward to that next conversation.
Yes, sir.
Carlis Acker, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a good day.
All right.
All right. Welcome, Mr. Hinton, principal at Hillcrest High School. You're guest number 2 on this speed show today. We're so excited to have you guys all on. So tell us about your job and where you came from and what you've been doing at Hillcrest.
Currently getting to serve in a great role. This is my 9th year as principal at Hillcrest High School. I've been in education 23 years, 21 of those at Hillcrest. Yeah. So it's nice to be able to come back to the school. I graduated from Hillcrest, so it's nice to be able to come back to the school every day that you grew up and graduated in the community, and kind of want to give back and make sure that the next generation, lays a solid foundation, because that's, as you get older, it's like, goodness, the current kids are the ones that are going to be driving the future and taking care of all of us old geezers.
Yeah, build my houses and take care of me in the hospital.
Exactly.
And writing my contracts, yeah. So I went back I graduated from Hartsville High, and I had a chance to go back and teach after 2 years of actually working down here in Tuscaloosa City. So I know that feeling of going back. And I was talking to Carlis about he gets to go back and teach too at his alma mater. That's a really fun thing. So you were a teacher. They made you drive the bus.
Oh, no doubt.
They made you coach everything.
Well, yes.
Until tenure, and then you were like, "Hey, I think I'm gonna not do all that."
Yeah, I was double majored in math and chemistry, so I was the science math nerd. Coached baseball and football.
Yep.
Was very fortunate to have some great teams and do some stuff, and being around the kiddos. I think that's the thing. I can remember back when I first left high school and went to college. I was in chemical engineering. Yeah. And then I came home one Christmas and told my parents, hey, I want to get into education.
Okay.
That conversation went over well.
Did it?
Yeah. It was one of those things where, I wanted to coach. It wasn't so much about getting into education, but that was just the avenue that was going to give me the opportunity to get into education. So it was, tough little transition. And then very blessed to work at some great schools. Yeah. To kind of lay the foundation, and
What was it that made you think I want to be that advocate for a child? Because that's really what you are as teachers. That's what we are.
Well, coming through Hillcrest High School, and it was early 90s. Yeah. Just the coaches, the teachers, and the community. It was still relatively new. The school was established in '82, but in '92 they built a new building. Right. So it was kind of a refresher for the community. So I was there during, the blossom or bloom of the whole community, kind of taking off to what the Hillcrest community is now. Yeah. So it was, the teachers working countless hours, doing clubs, organizations, and things outside of the classroom that really made the difference. And the coaching arena and aspect of it, whether it was baseball, football, basketball, track, whatever, just making those personal connections outside of the classroom, which are so, crucial and pivotal as we know now, that made a difference, and wanted to, take that ride of being an educator.
Right. Yeah, for me, it was a guy named Mike Smith and a lady named Penny Dollar, a head football coach and an English teacher and I was a wayward 16, 17, 18-year-old, and they were like, hey, you probably shouldn't do that and ruin your life. And I had great parents, but they were the ones that made me think. So you've been at Hillcrest, you've been in education for 23 years, so you've seen everything from whatever was going on when you started to AmSty,
correct,
to A+ College Ready, and now we've got all this construction and blue collar, the micro effect, if you will. What has that transition been like for you in the last 10 years?
It's one that's been much needed. Yeah, I will say that. It's one of those things where even the last 9 years as building principal, I've started off our parent and student meetings with, college is not for everyone. Oh, man. I want people, while they're in high school, to explore every opportunity they have, be a part of a culture and climate that's supportive, but also gives them an opportunity to figure themselves out. Whether that's just being a literate parent who can help the next generation just read and write if they just want to be a mom and dad, or if they want to go into the workforce, or if they want to learn a skilled trade. That's crucial. West Alabama is struggling, with much of the country. Our skilled workforce is, I hate to say this, getting ready to retire, getting ready to age out.
Yes.
Most of them are already aged out, and they continue to work because, we don't have skilled labor. So being able to afford our students with teachers like Carlis and the other guys that I have in career tech, and even taking, advantage of the things that you guys provide with the community college system, it's laying a foundation. It's just going to take time, and I'm scared that it's not going to happen quick enough.
Well, yeah, that's a problem. When I was at Calhoun Community College, that was the industries, the big, like Nucor, 3M, some really big wigs were like, hey, we need help now because my guy who's been running this machine for 25 years says he's retiring. So I need somebody now who can do what he can do. So trying to replace that knowledge, that tribal knowledge, is really, really tough. And I think that's where our courses come in, because we can get a lot of people on a really solid foundation for whatever the course is, and that allows the rest of the senior operators or senior carpenters, whatever they are, to go do the advanced things.
Right.
And so all the entry level or the foundational stuff is being done. How much do you sell the trades compared to like the construction programs? How much do you sell that or recruit for that compared to recruiting or developing new academic initiatives?
I want to say it's almost equally.
Yeah.
And the reason I say that is because the culture of the students at Hillcrest in that community is our teachers kind of fight for the kids.
Sure.
They have a recruiting battle. I mean, they all, the kids that know they want to go AP college dual route, they have those conversations with those teachers. We're still in our infancy with our career tech annex and at Hillcrest this year with this inaugural year, but those teachers had opportunities to come to the student class meetings and to talk about it. We've scheduled both middle schools to come over and have a career tech day.
Nice.
So that, a couple months ago, both middle schools and their 8th grade kiddos got to come over and participate in like a hands-on, a mini little wow event.
Perfect.
So we're doing things and trying to get the elementary schools involved. So it's one of those things where I want to say it's equal part, because we're trying to encompass all of our students. We're trying to get all of them. The ones that know they want to go to college or they want to do the academics and to go that route. But the ones that do the skills, we're pushing that just as hard and working with those students. I mean, it's almost, once those students get into the career tech arena or field, we want to make sure they're completers. They get as many certificates as they can. And we throw whatever money or resources we need to ensure those guys have the tools and equipments that they need. And then we try to reach out with our community partners to do things. I know, one of the things that I really love about some of the things around Calhoun and where Mr. Hyche was, the business and industry, the partnerships. I think they're coming here. And, it's just going to take time, because I would love to see some of our students, especially in that junior, senior year, be able to go out into the workforce and be able to work while they're still at school, get that credit, and be on a payroll at the same time. So I think that's crucial, like you just talked about earlier, about having those elder tradesmen being able to pass that knowledge so the students can, if they want to be a journeyman, or they can go out and go, okay, well, I like this aspect or not that aspect, and then they might try something else.
Yeah, that's what we say too. Since our courses are at no cost, and for adults, they can come in and spend really they can spend a week, and know I like that or I don't like it at all, and I'm not going to continue. If they like it, then there are other avenues. If they don't like it, there are other avenues, and it's limited cost for time or certainly for money. And I think that's what's really cool about these students too. We get questions a lot like, well, man, you're serving a lot of high school kids. Like, they're not getting jobs right away. Well, no, they're not, but they will when they graduate, and they're going to go somewhere. And what if we take all those other options off the table, so they know for sure I love construction, or I love healthcare, or I love fiber optics, whatever it is, or I don't want to drive. They know what they want to do when they leave. And so many kids, I remember seeing them, didn't have a plan. They literally graduated and they were unemployed. Now what? Like that's not a plan. And we talk about that. How often do you you've got the academic kids who guaranteed to be academic, that's all they ever want to do, and you got the kids who love the construction. How often do you blend those at the top, specifically for like those engineering kids who say that I'm going to go be this kind of engineer? That how much do you put them into a building science experience so they can see that level of it too?
I know in the future years we're going to do a lot more of it.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that was really eye-opening this school year is when we gave the work keys.
Yeah.
We noticed, because we did the training based on their enrichments, and Mr. Acker happened to have a senior enrichment. He almost had 100% success on the work keys test with all of his kids credentialing, and that lied in part of him being able to talk angles, measurements, degrees, being able to talk about what a fraction is.
Yeah.
So, it kind of just mysteriously worked out. So we got to looking at all the results and all the data. And the classes that had some of our career tech teachers, they were very successful with the work keys.
Yep.
So it kind of, lended itself to, okay, maybe we should get some of our academic kids involved in this, or let some of our teachers who are teaching, the calculus and the trig, the geometry stuff, come down and see our welding kids and how they notch pipes, or how they figure out the angles for things of that sort, or even the carpentry. So it's one of those things that, like I said, we're just starting things, but as you spend time with your teachers and your students and you look at some things like that, it's going to be crucial, because I think, let's say a kid's going to go to college and be an engineer. Well, the practical application of being able to see it and then be able to understand it and be able to explain it to somebody on a job site, I think that's just all encompasses everything. Because you can be the smartest person in the room, but if you can't talk to the people who are doing whatever you need to have done, it's not going to happen.
That was always really funny. When I was at Calhoun, I would get this contract training request from a company, and I had HR and the plant manager, production manager, safety manager, and then usually the guy actually doing the job. And they're all trying to agree on this plan, and then the guy over here who's actually doing the job is the one who everybody turns and finally listens to.
Yeah,
because he knows how it should be done. And I wonder how often, when you have a guy who's got a 4.0 in math or a 4.3 in math, how often they've actually welded pipe together or built a staircase or something. And my son, he's 14. He said he wants to be an engineer, and then he complains about having to rotate the tires. And we're talking about this torque wrench and all that. I'm like, if you're going to be an engineer, Bao, you've got to know this procedure. And that's a fun thing. Why do you keep? You've got 23 years in. Why do you keep going to work with this attitude of, I see this, there's a drive in you, and you got this positive disposition, and I can tell you still enjoy what you're doing. How have you kept that fire for 23 years?
Look, it's a struggle. There's days it's like, why am I doing this? But then you have those aha moments where you see it make a difference in a kid's life.
Yeah. I
think that's ultimately, if you're not in education to take care of the kiddos, and to see them successful, you
need to go home.
Well, yeah. I'm trying to find a nice way to say that.
Well, yeah.
It's one of those things where I'm really worried about the future. There's so many job opportunities, specifically in West Alabama.
Yeah.
We have, from Hunt, Oil, BF Goodrich, we have Nucor, we have Pfeiffer. We have Mercedes and all their subs that go along with all of that. So, there's business and industry along with, 700-800 houses that are being built in West Alabama in the next 6-7 months. So, you run the gamut on, okay, who's going to do all this?
Great question.
And if business and industry dries up, so does the town. So, do the job opportunities, and then, okay, then there goes fast food, there goes restaurants, there goes other things. And of course we're blessed with the university and the 2 school systems here, plus with all the colleges.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where without business and industry, we do not have the nice things that we have in this community. The tax funds and the money and the opportunities that are afforded to the kids for the playtime, or the adults for playtimes.
Yeah.
Are afforded because of the business industry we have here. So, having a workforce that we know is going to be here for a substantial amount of time, just it just, it's one of those things that we want to make sure that the community, we keep taking care of it. So I think that's in a nutshell. I mean, just wanting to take care of kiddos and make sure that they have a solid foundation moving forward.
I appreciate that response. It's a big vision for a high school principal to take on, but I appreciate that honesty. What's the next big thing for Hillcrest High School?
Next big thing, just continuing to develop our career tech offerings, being able to work hand in hand, whether it's, some of the skills trades, some of the training that you guys offer, finding ways to get our kiddos involved, get them over there, whether it's during the school day or whether it's after hours.
Yeah.
Just trying to make sure that we continue to offer as many things as we can because, we were having a conversation earlier about making sure that we capture the kids before they get out of high school.
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of what some people call, well, I'm going to take a gap year.
No,
nope.
bad idea.
A gap year is a bad, whether you're going to college or whether you're going to the workforce or you're just going to hang out.
Yeah.
Those instill poor work habits, poor ethics, and causes problems for a lot of people in society. So I'm not condoning, hey, go work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But at the same time, go find something you're passionate about. So giving as many students as we can the opportunity to kind of figure that out and to better themselves.
Yeah. Well, that's always, it should be the next big thing for any high school principal. So we are out of time for your segment for this speed dating round today. But Mr. Jeff Hinton, principal of Hillcrest High School, I appreciate you coming on, taking your time to share a snippet of what you're doing.
No problem.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Today, number 3 on this, I guess it's the Hillcrest High episode. We've got Mr. Jeff Hyche, who's a former Hillcrest principal and Hartselle High School principal, but educator, mentor extraordinaire. And I think a lot of people would say that, myself included.
I don't know about that.
And I called, just to be real transparent to the listening audience, which is basically my mom. I called you, Tuesday? I was like, hey, man, I need a favor. And you, of course, you jumped in because you're a servant at heart. But I had you in mind at some point for this show anyway.
Only because it's you, Houston. I've learned to say no in retirement a little bit more than I used to. But.
Well, it's hard to pull people out of retirement. It either takes money or a big favor. But I'm thankful for you here because what we do, we take a lot of risks and we do a lot of new things that people aren't accustomed to. And I learned from working for you that you did the same thing for progress, for the better of the students, and that's why we exist.
I believe you got to try new things. If you just tread in water, you're eventually going to sink. So I always like to, what's next?
What's next? Yeah. Well, I know that for sure. Tell us about that. So you did a lot of things at Hillcrest, but so you can tell us about that at Hartselle High. I know that personally. Yeah. But how do you approach that? What's next? And then selling people on the thing. What's your thought on that?
Well, it takes some time. In K-12, you're not going to change everything overnight. But I think I'm going to use Hartselle because that's where we were together. Hartselle, when I first got there, we kind of focused a little bit more on academics, and that was kind of my background anyway. But, we got our APs and college prep courses like we wanted them and had really an extensive offering of classes. And all of that was good. All of that was going good. But then we kept looking and thinking, okay, there's 50-60% of our student body that's lacking attention. We needed to find more. And this was back in prior to 2015. I mean, we were having this conversation before it really got popular in the state.
Right.
And you were obviously living in Hartselle at that point, but we divided our curriculum up really into academics and really tried to enhance our career tech offerings for students that are not all going to college or not all necessarily going to a 4-year college. Right. I do say career tech's for everybody. It's not just those not going to college. It's really for everybody. But we organized our curriculum there into what we called academies. So we had career academies, and we had just over time just extensive offerings. And if we had an opening for a staff position, we would consciously hire someone that would fit into what our vision was for that program. And it's really worked quite well, I think. But we started that quite early on and got those in line. So really focusing on our career tech of late, and I think we were doing it before it became the thing to
before it
do,
was sexy
which
again,
helped.
yeah.
But we've Hartselle did a lot of good things there, and I think we've North Alabama in general. I keep telling all of my folks at West Alabama, there's so much potential here, but North Alabama's had a head start. I think there's some really good things happening there, and a lot of it's because there's a working partnership
Yeah.
between business and industry, the junior college system, and K-12. And we were talking out front. One of the biggest obstacles I've always seen and run into is we don't talk the same language.
Absolutely
So,
not.
I mean, K-12 doesn't understand business industry doesn't understand us, and junior college is kind of in between. And, it's just, we'll meet. I went to, I don't know how many meetings over the years, and we talk about some of the things y'all have talked about earlier. There's a lack of skilled workforce. We need this. Industry needs this. Give it. And then we would talk and meet. We'd all agree there's a problem, and then we'd go back into our little worlds, and nothing would ever happen.
Have another meeting in 3 months and
Have another meeting, talk about the same thing. And at Hartselle, again, this was probably 2015, 16, we started having the conversation because we had added manufacturing as a course, a series of courses. But on all of our career academies, we wanted a component that was outside of the building, that they got some actual hands-on experiences.
where they got to go to it.
Go
and
to
experience
it,
that,
whether
yeah.
it's an apprenticeship type program or not. Some of them were paid, most were not. But just to make sure that the students had a real life hands-on experience. Before they graduated. Y'all had talked earlier about having a plan. We wanted every student to have a plan in place when they left us, because life gets a little hard after you leave high school. There's nobody holding your hand and helping you. And, we wanted ours to have a good working plan, and while we could still help them attain that. So, but we started talking with our manufacturing. We wanted to get some of the students out working and experience. So we just went and knocked on doors to industry there local. And there's not a lot of industry in Hartselle, but there's some very good companies there, and they were receptive. That very first year we started what you had mentioned, I think it's called Tiger Launch, what we called it.
Yeah.
We had 3 companies that were there. Now the second year we both mutually agreed to drop one of them, but it was because I think they were looking for cheap labor, and that's not what we were all about. And we just kind of had to figure that out. But
the 2 that remain are Sunoco and Sarawire.
Sarawire,
so good together.
Yes, it's been incredible. I think I was trying to think before I came on. I think we're in year 7 or 8 of students working there. And that very first year, we had about, I think it was 12 to 15 students that worked, so it's not a lot. We only had one shift, a 4-hour shift that they worked at both of those companies, doing very different things, but getting their foot in the door in the company. And the company, it was like a year-long a tryout period, a interview period to see if you wanted to offer them a job, after they graduated. But that very first year we've come a long way since. Today, there's about 80 kids working from one small high school, working in industry. I think they're making $17, $18 an hour as they start, which for teenagers is pretty good. They're getting experience. The companies are able to hire them when they leave or offer them. And they also work with these companies. I can't say enough good about them. They work with the student to allow them to go back to school. They pay for their education if they want to further it. So we actually have kids that want to be engineers that are putting together, online on an assembly line in high school, but they're learning. And then the company invests in them and their future. And it's been wonderful. It's been a wonderful program.
I remember I was not there when it started. When you started that, I had already left. But I remember seeing that. And now, 10 years later, almost 10 years later, my son is just about. He's going into ninth grade this
That's
fall.
hard to believe.
You know, you were there when he
Yeah.
was born.
Yeah.
But a lot of his classmates, older siblings, then I know their
Mm-hmm.
parents. I hear so many of them say, I'm like, "Hey, how's Bobby?" Well, Bobby's good. He's doing Tiger Launch, you know, and he's working at Sunoco 3 days a week, whatever. And so that is a prevalent conversation that the kids
Yeah.
right now, and these are kids who are intended for college,
Absolutely.
you know, and so it's also there's those kids who are just don't have all that framework at home, who are getting that framework from Brian and Stuart and their
Right.
teams, and they really are seeing a future.
Well, since within the 10-year time span that from the time we very first approached those companies, now we are a state recognized apprenticeship program.
Yep, you sure are.
So we work great with Calhoun Community College. I know you've been in your past, and I can't say enough good things about them and what they do for that area. Again, it takes everybody working together, and they really have it going on up there. But yeah, 10 years, and it's the kids are great. There's a lot that are going to be engineers. I've got one student in mind that got some scholarships. Really had a very difficult childhood, and his family really had nothing to give him to go to college. I mean, it was pretty much you're on your own. And he got some scholarships, but you know that doesn't pay for
All the other things,
everything it costs to go to school when you have nothing. So this young man went to work as a high school student at Sunoco. They took him under their wing because they recognized how what a future this young man had. And he continues to work there. They work with him as he got his basic courses under his belt, and they're paying for everything. So I mean, they'll have an engineer for life. When he gets through. But that's what it takes. I think industry has to invest in our students. And being a K-12 person, and y'all mentioned this earlier on one of your discussions earlier before me, you better start early as an industry. I've had people tell me, you know, we're not interested in hiring anybody until they're at least 18. I get it. I understand that, but you're not going to get them at 18 because somebody else, they're going to go somewhere else.
Something else already has their attention.
The healthcare industry, certainly manufacturing, way ahead of the game, ahead of some other industries. I had many discussions with the home builders and carpenters and construction industry, and why can't we get any of your students? Why can't we get them? And I said, well, if you will hire them, they're looking for work in high school. They would like to work as a senior, sometimes as a junior, you know, for half a day while they go to school. You've got to invest in that time. You've got to bend your hours, and you've got to make it work. But invest in these students. If you're a plumber, if you're a carpenter, let them ride with you. Let them clean up. Let them find work to do. But be around you, be around the industry, and they'll be there for you when they graduate. They weren't willing to do that, and it was frustrating them when they would come out and everybody's going to work in industry. Or
did you anticipate all of that? The success that Tiger Launch and the entire career tech, because Hartzell was an academic. I'm going to say it because I didn't, you know, we can do that here. They were not a career tech school. I mean, we had agri-science. We built birdhouses.
It was very old-fashioned, traditional.
And they did a good job with it. You know, Mr. Adams and everybody after him, they did a good job, but they were not a career tech school. And but now they are. Like now you can get all that there.
Well, career tech's for everybody. First of all, I mean, we have an incredible healthcare. I was telling somebody, I know my last year there, we hired our 4th healthcare teacher in that program just because of the demand. We have a wonderful engineering program, a very high computer science and cybersecurity and all of those kind of programs that, yes, it's going to take a 4-year degree plus, you know, for a lot of those people, but you're getting so much hands-on experience in high school now.
And that's the difference maker. Those folks would ask all the time, like, hey, do you need a degree or certificates or work experience? And more often than not, they'll say, I'll take that certificate and work experience over a degree. So we can finish the degree later.
Right.
Jeff, we're almost out of time. and I wish we had 3 hours to talk because I could pick your brain forever. Final thoughts on where academics career tech is going to go from your viewpoint.
Well, I hope, my viewpoint's retired, but,
Sure.
but I do hope it certainly continues to grow. I still think there's a lot of work to be done. And I really do believe it begins with communication and understanding. One of my pet peeves I'll throw in is just within the state of Alabama, we have way too much duplication because we can't sit down and talk and work things out together. K-12 can't afford the labs and the equipment. I mean, we just cannot. We don't have the funding for those kind of things, but we have the students and we have the need. The junior college system has facilities, has teachers and programs that for a large part, a lot, not all, but a lot of those programs are sit empty during the day. They're unused because their clientele works during the day and they come to school at night, or they come do the labs and the working and things at night. We've got to work together to where we utilize all this. And industry is just saying, give me people. Well, give us help. I mean, we need your expertise. As you saw, Carlis, he was one of my former students, but incredible teacher. He's doing a great job. He has no training in teaching, but he loves his craft and he loves sharing that with young people. And he's been very successful. But we need more of that. Well, he's taken a huge pay cut to come be a teacher.
I didn't ask him that, but I
it's it's a huge pay cut. But and hopefully we can hang on to him and others like him that are want to share their their craft with others. But those are things that we've just got to continue to work on. But I mean the state's making great progress. It's just got to continue. I think the stigma of career tech is definitely changed in the recent years.
I think it's gone.
I hope
it's
so.
gone. Yeah.
But we also have to have quality programs. We can't just, it can't be like, what the stereotype of it was 20 years ago.
Birdhouses and gun racks. Well, you're right, sharing, and that's something we deal with too, is the duplication. We like to make sure we aren't doing that. But great viewpoints. I wish we had more time, and maybe we will in the future.
Sure.
But Mr. Jeff Hyche, retired, all things educator extraordinary. We appreciate your time. And this is the end of this episode, so we appreciate you guys being here. Remember to like, subscribe, and share on all your podcast platforms, the Innovation Unplugged. Thank you.